Hey, folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. We have 3 in-theaters films for you here, folks. So we are jumping to Hamnet, a smaller film directed by Chloe Zhao, and that's been getting some Oscar buzz for performances. We're then covering newly released The Housemaid by Paul Feig, and Avatar, Fire and Ash, of course, directed by James Cameron. Very excited to get Vincent Daly in the room, hear what he has to say about these films. So stay tuned, everybody, and enjoy the show. Mr. Vincent Daly, how are we doing across the table?
Thomas, you know I'm doing pretty well.
We are doing great.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to you, Vin. Happy birthday to you as well.
Thank you.
You are, after all, the baby Jesus. And, well, folks, it's the day after Christmas. We were trying to get this episode out on Christmas Day, but we just had too much going on. So but I don't think many people are listening anyway.
Yeah, I think it was probably best for just even like the algorithms and whatnot. But we're still on track as far as this week's episode here, and then we're continuing with Marty Supreme next week. So.
And we already saw, keeping up with tradition from last year, we went to go see Marty Supreme last night.
Yeah.
I had my crew. I had my uncle and cousin with me. You had your crew with you. And I don't know. It's a nice little tradition.
It is. I was expecting... I actually don't know what I was expecting from the crowd, but I guess I was expecting it to be even more rowdy. But
I was happy to see a crowd at all.
Yeah.
And I told Vin before we were recording that where we live, there was even an article I saw online that our area does very good Christmas night, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, but no, very excited to talk about Marty next week and Timmy. Mm-hmm. And other than that, we've got Avatar, Fire and Ash, and some other movies. Right? I mean, basically.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Housemaid, I think it matters to the people that cared to see it like opening release.
And people did,
Yeah, it comes off of like a very successful book series, and probably will be more movies because I believe it's 4 books deep already. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have to watch them. So.
But the big one is Avatar, Fire and Ash. It feels like everyone is making excuses for its box office or saying it deserves to earn more or something like that. Like, yeah, it's unreal.
We are coming off our holiday Christmas party, which we just wrapped up 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
So we're having a good time.
Loaded up.
I'm very excited to be recording this with you, Vin. It's literally snowing outside, so it's perfect, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear about these. I didn't get a chance to see any of them. I was hoping... I mean, I had to put it to you last night. You were very convinced that I saw Avatar, Fire and Ash by myself. Just 0 time.
Maybe some good educated guesses of what were the problems with that movie.
I listened to some other reviews and what else some other people had to talk about over the past 2 weeks when the review embargo got lifted. But I can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
Hamnet is interesting because Hamnet, folks, if you haven't heard about it, because it's not being talked about all too much, at least critic-wise, it's getting some praise. It's been out in theaters spotty for a little while now.
Right.
And it's an independent film. It was in one of the festivals and then got picked up, so it's trying to have a broader release. But it's being talked about for performances, which I keep on saying. But that's the case.
Yeah.
That is why it's being talked about mostly.
Absolutely. And I'll talk about it in just a second, but like... It does have a unmistakable scent of Oscar bait, whether it be Shakespeare as like a subject, a period piece, drama. But I will say it was worth it for checking out of those performances because it was quite a doozy, quite an emotional roller coaster.
And our director, so well, do you have any opening notes first of all?
No, we can go right into it.
Okay, I have opening notes.
Oh,
I want to do trailer talk.
Oh,
which we do in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because the one thing is, everyone's freaking out about Chris Nolan's Odyssey stuff.
Yes.
Anything that comes out, I'm staying away from.
Okay.
So I'm purposely going to be quite quiet about it, just because I want to be kept in the dark. It's being talked about way too much.
Yes.
And I was telling you earlier, it's like, how does it even live up to the hype? I think everybody needs to chill a little bit.
Yep. And also the jump to conclusions people are making, whether it just be let's get something for clicks in the algorithm or actually outrage of it. I feel like they're jumping to conclusions way too much without seeing what the movie is actually going to be.
And Chris Nolan, how not controlling he is. No, in a good way, controlling.
Right.
He's only going to give us what he wants. So we really don't know anything until it comes out, which I kind of do appreciate.
Yeah.
What is it getting shit online?
The outrage I've heard is more so for like historical accuracy. People don't like the costumes. People don't. I mean,
everyone's an American accent too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the hardcore history buffs are upset with like how things look, how obviously faithful it's going to be to the Odyssey.
Yeah.
There is some pushback of that online with saying like, well, the Odyssey is still in the realm of fantasy. There are cyclopses. It's in the realm of mythos. So I don't know. I'm definitely in your camp of just saying like, I not only need to see a little bit more, but I definitely kind of want to have eyes closed as much as possible.
Yeah, because it's a year out. Well, not quite. Well, no, it's not a year out anymore. More like 6 months. But it's still, it's just been for the past year has been insane.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to, it's just like, come on now.
It's same with Oppenheimer. Nolan has brought about these trailers a year and ahead that do a countdown. And
which is
speaking
crazy.
of other trailers, Avengers Doomsday, the teaser, has its own year countdown.
Yeah.
It goes from 12 months.
Which, hey, read the room. I don't know if we
Keep
care
on
that
counting.
much. Yeah.
Take another lap.
And while we were at Marty Supreme, I knew that the Disclosure Day from Spielberg, I knew that came out. And same thing, I was like, I'm going to stay away from this. We went to go see Marty Supreme, and then boom, there's a trailer for it.
Yep.
Very excited. It's Spielberg. And going back to UFO sci-fi, not roots, but he loves that shit.
He really does. I told you already, I mean, like, that trailer itself, if I was a younger kid, I would be kind of scared of that
spooked
trailer.
by it.
Yeah. But I'm excited for that movie just in the same way that I was excited for Superman from this past year, just in the sense that I know we can really make a dynamite episode out of that, either doing Spielberg or Spielberg UFO specific stuff. I mean, the list is there.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm pumped for it to come out. It's going to be one of the main, the hot weeks for the summer. It's going to be a great summer.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that came out, which got teased in front of some Avatar Fire and Ash screenings, not yours apparently, because I'd asked you about it, but is the Alejandro G. Inarritu, the director who made Birdman, who made The Revenant, one of my favorite films. He's making a Tom Cruise absurdist comedy film.
Yeah. It's called Digger. The teaser doesn't show much. It's just him in cowboy boots on a pier.
Dancing with a shovel.
Yeah.
The artwork looks cool for it, though.
Yes. Definitely like the aesthetics of the trailer or the poster and stuff that's released.
Yeah, it's kind of old school.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't tell you. I mean, ear to ear grinning. It might be my most anticipated film for all of 2026.
That's crazy. I mean, I love that. And also, I will say, I am rooting for Tom Cruise to maybe get out of, not franchise hell, but do something kind of creatively bold here.
Making a step, and
and Inarritu is the one to do something bold, you know.
And Inarritu's been talking Tom up.
Wow.
He's like, you haven't, like, if you knew what I knew, like, this guy is,
that makes it very exciting.
I can't wait. Wait. Anyway, that's trailer talk for the beginning of the episode.
The rare trailer talk for you.
Yeah. I guess we'll jump in. We are going to do Hamnet first. Let's get into that.
Okay, sure.
The director, Chloe Zhao, I think another reason it's good to cover it on the podcast, Chloe Zhao is a director, again, small, indie, but getting her name kind of known. She won... Well, Nomadland she made in 2020, which Nomadland won for Best Picture, Oscar, so that was kind of a big deal. She came out with Eternals in 2021. A stinker, to say the least.
A stinker, and also just like hated in every direction possible.
Yeah,
hated from Marvel
everyone.
Hated from film fans.
I'd like to shake the hands of the man who loves Eternals, the film.
Or like really rooting for
I don't think
Eternals to have their place in the MCU.
I guess I don't think they exist.
Yeah.
But Chloe Zhao then is like, what are you doing? And then she comes out with Hamnet in 2025. So you said it's William Shakespeare inspired, somewhat true. I think a lot of untrue.
Yes, there's it does a lot of historical jumping around to obviously the theater he's performing at, and even like the homes he's buying. But it's much more domestic. Not exactly. I'll say in a little bit. Not the big Shakespeare biopic you're looking for. It feels like a lot of other movies.
I don't think it's supposed to be either.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not like you had brought up Maestro before recording.
Yes.
Where Maestro, you kind of end and it's like, well, do I really know Leonard Bernstein? Because it was supposed to be the biopic.
Bingo.
This is a snapshot in time about their family structure and then how do we get Hamlet, basically. But regardless, so we have Jessie Buckley as the main actress, Paul Mescal, who was all over the place. And directed by Chloe Zhao. You take it away, tell us about the film, and get into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this has received a lot of buzz for many great acting performances, and was something I kind of expected to do a catch-up in the new year for, but managed to squeeze it in this week, and was happy
And still in theaters.
Yeah, absolutely. Before checking this out, though, I would say I was a little bit lukewarm for a few reasons. One, I didn't really care that much for a fictional account of Shakespeare's life, even though the story walks a lot of the historical footsteps. I also kind of don't care for Chloe Zhao, our director. Beyond the real-world appeal of, real life actors, so to speak, in her 2020 release Nomadland, I felt the movie really would be better off as a documentary, and more importantly, this kind of comes as her first strike out of movie jail, so to speak. And that movie jail, that sentencing was for her mutually hated time spent in the MCU for 2021's bomb Eternals.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into it. Didn't even realize this. Well, first of all, Nomadland, you gave it 70%.
Yes.
I'm assuming that, who's our lead actress who we absolutely love?
Frances McDormand.
Yes, Frances McDormand, my favorite actress, by the way, right now living. You gave it a 70%.
Yeah.
She's starring in it. I'm sure that's doing some weight in it. That was episode 1.
Yes, that did make it. I always get confused with the few proto-episodes we have floating around.
That's true, the trial stuff. That was the Cruella episode 1, Nomadland. Which
I did not go back and listen to that.
I don't think most people should, maybe.
God help you.
All right, go ahead, take it away.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, my continued thoughts on that movie is like, it was strong, but I really think it would have been stronger as a documentary, not to even spit in the face of, her getting Best Picture and whatnot. But The Eternals, that's a deviation, and not for the best. Again, there is a mutually hated time spent in the MCU. Chloe Zhao did not like her time in the MCU, and for the best. And this was a passion project for Zhao, and thankfully is back in her emotional wheelhouse to give us something you actually want to see and something she actually want to make. Hamnet is a period romance drama that slightly serves as, again, a biopic for William Shakespeare's early days as a playwright, but more so focuses on a lot of intense emotional baggage within the budding home life that he has. Will is played by Paul Mescal, starting the story as a frustrated tutor working to pay off his father's debts. He falls head over heels for Agnes, played by Jessie Buckley, a witchy forest girl that is fascinated with the stories he weaves, and I mean really woodsy, like old school, old world woodsy. She would make a hippie blush. She would wipe the floor with your average TikTok festival girl any day of the week. Like, you think you're a guru? No, Agnes has got it. Not satisfied with his small town prospects, Will juggles starting his career in London while also growing his family to have 3 children left in Agnes's care. But when tragedy strikes, his absence only compounds the intense grief felt at home. And with the only outlet for emotion he knows, channels both his and Agnes's pain onto the stage. Folks, we've talked a lot about Oscar bait over the years, and many qualities of Oscar bait can kind of come to mind. This movie being a platform for acting, an overdramatic tone to the experience, the list goes on of what could come to mind when you think of Oscar bait. And honestly, when kind of reflecting on this film, It's hard to tell when that list shifts from praise to critique. What's the line there?
Yeah.
Of when Oscar bait becomes a burden of how to describe a film. Hamnet mostly has good qualities when it comes to that, especially when it comes to those acting performances it's getting most of the praise for. But personally, I could not stop thinking about two other movies while watching this. The first was 1998's semi-infamous Oscar sweeper Shakespeare in Love. Both films flirt a line with kind of a semi-historical, semi-fictional elements to a huge historical figure. But maybe even more so, I could not stop thinking about 2023's Maestro when watching this. Not only do... and if anything, it was kind of like, well, who's the main character here? Who's the lead role? Like we talked about with that movie. Not only do both films take a strategic sidestep in not being directly about our person of interest, but both stories have a much greater interest in the woman or the women in their lives, and to some degree you can argue who is the lead role in this. I think this is also a useful comparison to talk about the time jumps in the story. Hamnet doesn't really have... it's not exactly stream of conscious, but we don't really see Will's work until the very end of the movie, and instead kind of gauge where he's at in his career through glimpses of the home life. So I can't really say walking out of this film, again, whether it's the goal of the film or not, that I know what Shakespeare was working on at certain periods of his life, fictional or not here. It's more so he's doing his thing. This is what's happening in the home life, and that's that emotion. How is it making it to the stage? And we finally see it at the very
That's really
end.
the movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I had asked you, how much are we really dealing with Shakespeare play? How much are we in the material?
Yep.
And you said not very much.
Yeah, it's pretty much the finale, which is kind of nice in the sense that the climax of the story
building up to
is you finally get to see it. But I could definitely see someone maybe being a hardcore Shakespeare fan, maybe being a touch disappointed,
because it's really a family drama at the end of it.
Exactly. And for what it's worth, the acting performances are so good, you maybe wonder how that could translate to seeing more stuff on stage, even if it's not our main duo or anything like that. So, but as much as I would love to be kind of snarky for the review again, kind of picking some beef with Chloe Zhao, we really do get some powerhouse performances here from literally everyone involved. I wouldn't say Mescal is doing anything out of his kind of typical moody range, but as always, he really does a lot of acting in his eyes specifically, and almost what doesn't come out of his mouth. I think Mescal's strength as an actor is just like
quiet acting,
the non-acting of it, Jessie Buckley, though, on the other hand, came to play in this. She is not messing around. We'll see Buckley later on in 2026 for The Bride. The Bride of Frankenstein, weird kind of mix.
She doesn't play the bride.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she is.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. Okay.
And I don't know. We haven't really touched on. I think Buckley was in Men.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
But that's about it as far as what we covered from her. She's got some interesting appeal. She's got this like kind of constant smirk that she has. You pretty much see it in any picture she has. Not only is this character difficult for how old world, like truly old world she feels and how unusual she feels, there are just countless scenes where she makes the whole movie. Particularly there are scenes where she's maternal or even specifically giving birth, and she's just able to blend so many emotions at once without, I don't know, maybe even seeming cartoony or over the top.
Right, yeah. She's playing it straight.
Yeah. And it feels lived in. This character feels lived in, aside from, Buckley maybe not having a super defining role that you would associate with her. Here, she really blends into this character. Lastly, I also would say that I have some unexpected praise and well-deserved praise for kid acting in this movie.
My God, usually,
This is the jump scare of the episode. It surprised me, but mainly I would say the main kid that plays Hamnet, I believe it's Jacob E. Jupe.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's a good actor name or not.
Yeah, no, we'll take it.
But the rare performance from a kid actor that really not once did I say, oh, I'm being taken out of this or whatnot. If anything, kind of like Paul Mescal, has some unusually good face acting.
For a kid, that's super rare.
It's crazy.
Okay, so
I mean, this kid was adorable, but he had some chops.
Wow, we'll keep him. Keep him in the old Rolodex there. Okay,
exactly. So
because there's 3 main kids, correct?
Yes.
A daughter.
2 daughters and 1 son.
And 1 son, yeah, okay, right.
Exactly. But really surprising. I will say, maybe just off the cuff, maybe there is something there to Chloe Zhao's directing, working on Nomadland, in dealing with non-actors and getting some degree of performance, or just capturing that realism. Maybe that was a secret ingredient here in working with these kids, because they were all very good, but Jacob Jupe...
really good.
Yeah, really good. Maybe not get a different name, but really good. Folks, originally I was going to say this was good, but nothing exceptional. And when I think of the story and the experiences as a whole, I still kind of have that feeling. But when I really zero in on these performances held within it, I cannot deny how powerful this was in the emotion conjured by every single actor. Everyone is dialed in on this. Maybe this is a case where I wouldn't really return to this again, but I can certainly respect the craft on display and wouldn't be upset if this secured really any wins in the coming months. With that said, we're going to go ahead and give Hamnet a 73.
Okay, 73%. I'm glad you liked it. And how emotionally taxing was it in the end? When you know what I mean? When push comes to shove.
Pretty emotionally taxing. This was, I wouldn't call this like a feel-bad movie, but this is capital D drama for sure.
And it's pulling on the heartstrings.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean, there's a place for that.
Yeah. I mean, I would call it intense because of the emotion. It's not intense because of like action or even like arguments or anything like that. It's just intense because of like how people are sitting with the emotion in this.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, 73%. That's still pretty good. I'm glad you watched it, and I'm glad we have it on the site.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had an okay time. So with that, let's go to, this just came out this past weekend. This is The Housemaid, directed by Paul Feig? Feig. Okay, directed by Paul Feig. And we have Sydney Sweeney, again, in a picture. She's in like 4 films this year.
Get her out.
And then we have, we'll see what she can do. And then Amanda Seyfried.
Yep.
Who is a hometown hero, Keystone Cutie.
Keystone Cutie.
But she is, she's right there with us.
Yeah,
I mean, I went back and listened to some interviews for her. She still loves where she comes from.
Oh, that's great.
Still visits, still enjoys when she comes back. Talks about the park that she's going to come back, walk in, the
Really?
Starbucks she likes to go to.
Wow.
I was digging it.
That's great.
But, okay, so The Housemaid, it actually had some chatter online. The box office was... okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think for this kind of small film, it had an all right release, considering how much else was coming out, and especially Avatar. But regardless, The Housemaid, once you set it up, is based on a book. And tell us how you enjoyed Housemaid.
Well, for a hot second, I thought this was the first movie we had from Paul Feig on the podcast, but then I remembered the dreaded Ghostbusters 2016.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ay. This movie was way more popular than I expected, though. I mean, pretty crowded theater when I went to see it. And really only caught me by surprise because I just didn't do my homework before seeing it. It is based off of the book by the same name. The Housemaid was a beyond smash hit on shelves in 2022. And once you know the story, though, its success is really no mystery. It's a juicy mix of a thriller plot, sexual taboos, and more than a little girl power wish fulfillment somewhere in there. That formula might as well have been a chemical weapon targeted at the female book demographic. Like that is just like, yep. And we are lasering in on who we want to read this. I would say, on the other hand, I do feel like these smash hit book adaptations are a little doomed from the start. We talked about this way back when we covered Where the Crawdads Sing in 2022. You remember that one?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
This is a big throwback episode. We're talking about the first episode. Avatar, the James Cameron episodes, like 60s.
I do remember the crawdad saying, yeah.
It feels like in these big book adaptations, they're doomed from the starts because fans of the books are always going to have some degree of problem when it's eventually flipped into the movie. The controversy around this one is fans are beefing big with Sydney Sweeney's casting of this character because they are so electrified by this character. From what I understand about these books, the housemaid that is in it, it's a big role. It's key to the whole thing, more so than any of the secondary players. And I personally find myself agreeing with that specific piece of beef where fans have not been happy with this miscast around Sydney Sweeney, and I really do agree with that. I think she's a miscast.
She's too flat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
well, that was not planned. That was great.
But she has. Can I just say,
I'm kind of mad at myself. I didn't come up with that joke
pretty good.
in the writing process.
So the thing with Sydney, I like Sydney Sweeney.
Okay.
My thing is, even in her overall personality, I don't know. Even just like her presence, the way she talks, can seem almost dead inside. And I know that's bad. I mean, but do you know what I mean?
Right.
There's some type of talk about not acting with your eyes.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes there's not enough going on there. But I don't know. I think I'm rooting for her.
In some ways, I'm with you because I feel like Sydney Sweeney in press circuits is more charismatic than the characters that she assumes in the roles.
Okay, and I'm even talking about press circuit.
Right.
I mean, someone for vocal fry. Can I say even with the jeans ad?
Right.
So I was listening to podcasts talk about it.
Sure.
The most offensive thing about that ad was just the vocal fry and like the Valley Girl kind of whatever, like this attitude she had was aggravating me so much. I just wanted to be like, just talk normal.
Just talk normal.
Why you want to the vocal fry? You seem like a lame ass. That was my biggest issue with the ad.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, what are we doing here? Why would you accept this? Who's the director of this ad?
Who's the director?
Are you kidding me? Can we get some more spunk going on here? This is nothing. Anyway, but that goes back to her, I don't know, her presence, the way she delivers whatever she's saying, sometimes has a flatness to it.
Yeah, and we've spent some time with Sweeney now on the podcast, and none of it has been like really great. Now, the one thing missing from this puzzle is Christy. This
that and anyone but you.
True. Right. Well, I'm not expecting that much. But Christy, I've heard a lot of things, good and bad, on it. We didn't cover it ultimately, but that is apparently her attempt at a very serious, acting performance.
It's like what The Rock did, basically.
Yeah, and maybe kind of got swept in, the mix of marketing with that.
It just got pushed under the run big time.
Yeah.
That film, Christy, yeah.
Absolutely. But The Housemaid is what I'll kind of call a steamy thriller with a psychological spin and a hefty dose of chick flick logic that makes this closer to 50 Shades of Grey than anything else. It's also the first of 4 books in the series to come from Frida McFadden. So I fully expect us to cover a sequel a little bit down the road. Sweeney plays Millie Calloway, a girl struggling to land a steady paycheck, when suddenly a dream opportunity lands in her lap. She interviews for a live-in nanny position that seems to be too good to be true, and quickly reveals it is. Working for the affluent Winchester family, her new boss, Nina, played by Amanda Seyfried, is about as two-faced as they come. One moment drawing Millie in as one of their own, and the next flipping the script like she never wanted her in the first place. Millie has nothing to lose despite many red flags, especially the biggest flag being she's working with a absolute psycho bitch nut job. I'm sorry, but wow, leave, girl. What are you doing here? But the longer she stays, the more she starts to live Nina's life and unravels a hell she couldn't even comprehend until she was on the inside. Folks, when I call this movie delicious trash, is that self-explanatory?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost so bad it's good territory in a way.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, there's slight differences in there.
Interesting. Maybe that's worth defining at some point, or getting some movies to to outline it better. But I say delicious trash in kind of equally both directions of good and bad. The first half of this felt really bland, coming dangerously close to being streaming slop that only got theater space because of the book fan base. But once we get to that second half of the story cranks up nearly every aspect of its campiness and has a lot of fun in the way that kind of made me understand how this book was a page turner in the first place. There was an element of just like, oh, well, what's going to happen next? There was something there. So many moments in this are a real big eye roll, though, like a really big eye roll. I thought the mystery around Nina being a psycho was just like telegraphed way too much, to the point it felt like a cartoon for how some scenes play out. And I made the comparison to 50 Shades of Grey. Don't get me started on this love triangle that forms with the husband in the middle of the two. Obviously the big themes here are, too good to be true. But it feels like they boiled down every possible 50 Shades of Grey romance trope into black tar heroin for their female audiences. Like, this is a calculated effort. This is where I also point to Paul Feig, because it's just like, I just know the business talks about this. They're just like, they're gonna eat it up. They're gonna bring their boyfriends. That's when we get Sydney Sweeney to keep them on the hook. I smell the business on this. And listen, I don't normally say things like chick flick when describing a movie. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe double check me. Do I say that?
No, I don't think you do. We have a compilation labeled Girls Night or something like that on the site. But
that's loving.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Chick flick, I think, is derogatory.
Oh, you think it's derogatory?
It's like,
it's just
it's like a throwaway type of thing.
Okay. All right. I don't know, because Paul Feig, whatever his name is, also did Bridesmaids, and that's a chick flick, but like a very successful, very good chick flick.
And a very good one. Yeah, absolutely. But I would say the reason why I come to the phrase chick flick, because it's just unmistakable here, especially when it comes to the logic of how things play out, how twists and turns are structured. All of it is just geared towards a very loose logic that, I don't know.
It's delicious trash.
Yeah, it's delicious trash.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The acting performances here, all way off balance. Way.
I had something good to say.
Way off balance.
Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and then our guy that we haven't mentioned, Brandon Skelnar.
Yes.
Who's doing his best to get in.
I guess.
He's in 1923. People love him in 1923.
Okay.
He was in that one movie we didn't cover, which you actually absolutely hounded, the trailer. This is one with the girls getting texts like, you have to kill the boy that you're on a date with.
Drop. Yes. Oh, my God.
But he's trying to get in to pretty boy kind of Austin Butler status. I think is what the roles he's kind of going for.
This definitely aligns with that.
He hasn't broken through into cinema, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah. I would say for Amanda Seyfried, I enjoyed her a lot. She gives a big, hammy, meat and cheese villain performance, evil villain performance here. And it's not only that it was fun to watch, it looks like she was having a lot of fun in the acting as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I really mean that as like full praise for this. Maybe this is a bit too much praise, but on some level, this dips somewhere close to Cape Fear in the levels of camp and hamminess. And I think that's some big praise.
That's a lot of praise, man. That's a lot of praise.
I'll dial it back a little bit. But that's where like how over the top she is on this.
Oh, I'd like to hear that. Okay.
She really is like over the top compared to everyone else in the movie. And the shame of it is that her hammy acting is highlighted by her co-star, with Sydney Sweeney just feeling checked out for the entire movie. Folks, we're talking about like subtle acting. We're talking about non-acting or natural acting through the face. There's that, and then there's whatever crumbs of effort Sweeney was doing here. I mean, and the most frustrating part of her performance is that it isn't that much different when she does try. You know what I mean? It's just so noticeable that not an ounce of that was clicked on here.
Okay.
And also where I go back to the press circuit, she sounds so much more enthusiastic about this movie, about the project. I mean, certainly, the prospect of 3 other more movies,
right? Maybe
more. There's something there that's like, where was this in the character? There's something seriously missing, and it feels like she's not just trying at all. And that's where all the fan beef is, because the fans love this book because of her character, Millie Calloway.
And she's just not bringing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks to hear. I mean, I'm glad Amanda Seyfried did well, but basically not a good ping pong back and forth.
Yeah.
She was more of a sponge. Sydney Sweeney just sponging it, not giving it back.
If that, bouncing off, she's Teflon. Teflon done.
Well, maybe it's because she was in the middle of 5 other projects.
Yeah. Right, and a controversy, and mid-cancellation, losing her contract for Euphoria. You know?
Did she officially lose that?
I don't know. I truly haven't had an interest to keep up
we don't
with
have
the
to
drama,
get into that, honestly. Yeah,
more so not an interest in Euphoria. You know. So,
yeah. How was the guy Brandon Skelnar playing Andrew Winchester?
You listen, somewhere in the middle. Certainly not doing a job in the sense that it took away from what Amanda Seyfried was doing, because I really think
she was bringing it.
Yeah, she was bringing it, and it's only a detriment with how low the effort is on Sydney Sweeney's end of this acting performance that it hurts it. I think he was fine, though. So I certainly didn't know the track record of him being in Drop and shit like that. So.
Well, Drop is a rough one, yeah. But no, I mean, 1923 right now is a claim to fame for sure.
Yeah.
Because it actually has some good, reputation to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, I mean, I get to side with the fans once every now and a blue moon. And fans really seem to be on the same exact page for this, especially if Sweeney is going to be attached more to the project than even Amanda Seyfried moving forward. I just think it's a huge lost opportunity to see Seyfried do so much, and Sweeney basically being able to be replaced with any blonde willing to show off the girls a little bit. That is the role requirement here. And that's where I even say, I feel like in the casting room, they were just like, all right, we need to keep the boyfriends interested too. I mean, who can we bring
in Sweeney?
Yeah. Carter in, Like I said, though, deliciously bad and mostly just actual trash. I hate to say it, but when chick flicks are seen as lesser or outright bad, this is a perfect example of that. And our director's loose style certainly doesn't help pull the movie out of those depths. However, that's exactly why I think this will probably do great once it hits streaming, to capture even a larger book crowd, to capture the morbidly curious for Sydney Sweeney's ongoing career, and probably where it belonged in the first place. We're going to go ahead and give The Housemaid a 45.
Okay, a 45%. Okay, yeah, you're totally right. I think this will have it will just like Where the Crawdads Sing when that came out. The book people care.
Yeah, but similarly, kind of their own fans trashed that movie because they were like, "This is a bad adaptation."
Well,
and maybe that's just something to say with book adaptations in general. I mean, this goes all the way back to when we were growing up with Harry Potter. Anyone that read Harry Potter said, they did a bad job with the movie.
There is something to be said about that. I felt that about Ender's Game.
Okay,
I was like, I should have never read this.
Right.
Oh, I wanted to say this in the beginning of the episode. Do you and I make a commitment to each other that we read or listen to The Odyssey before The Odyssey comes out?
I would like that. I would like that.
Or are we going to be too attached to the material then and be like, why do you do this? Why is this not included?
That's basically where everyone is talking about it.
It is the problem when you read the book. Oh, well, Lord of the Rings. Now, the funny thing is, everyone who loves the books typically loves the movies.
Yes.
Except for a few scenes that they truly can't stand. But that is the thing. You're right. The fans are going to go because they love it, but the fans are also going to hate on it because it's not perfect.
Yeah. It's almost inescapable in some degree of that. So, yeah.
And that's a 45. Okay.
That is a 45.
Good for Amanda. Honestly, if there's anyone I wanted to come out looking good on this one, it's Amanda.
She looks great, too.
Hometown girl. She does look great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know where I first found her? For whatever reason, she sung like a Little Red Riding Hood song.
Oh, really?
For Audi.
Oh.
She was on an Audi commercial.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, what is that song? And I was like, who's that person? And I was like, oh, local. Local girl.
It's a smoke show.
Now I'm going to follow a career. Okay, 45% for The Housemaid, directed by Paul Feig. And okay, so before, folks, we get onto the last big film of the week, we want to remind people that the daily ratings here, we are completely listener-supported. We are producer-supported, which basically means that Vin and I here are not going to be taking any advertising money, where we're taking commercial breaks constantly or having pop-up ads and ads all over the website. We are monetary supported through our listeners. And when you do monetarily support us, you become an actual actual legitimate producer of the Daily Ratings. Because just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you are a producer of the project. So that's how we're doing it here. We also don't want to do a Patreon or like a paywall where we force you to give a certain amount of money in order to get extra content, or even to get content, you need to give us a certain amount of money a month. We're not dealing with any of that. Everyone's on their own finances week to week. Everyone's got their own thing going on. So we're going off the value for value model, meaning, are you finding value in what we're doing here? You enjoying the podcast? Are you using the website? We look at that as value in your pocket. So can you send us some value back in our pocket? It's value for value. So if you go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab there, and everything there on that page will be laid out for you. So we do have some set donations like buy Vin a movie ticket, Gump Club, Space Odyssey, things like that. But there's the big value for value button there. So you click that, and it's any amount that you want, big or small. $5, $50, 500, 5,000, it doesn't matter. You peg the number, you peg how much value you're getting from us, and send it our way. We greatly appreciate it. And when you become a producer, you can send in a producer note. So write in. This could be questions, comments, critiques, ask us anything, start a conversation, add to a conversation, whatever. We want to hear from you because it's another way of being a producer. So you can email us at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. You can hit us up there. If you want to be anonymous or don't want your name said, just let us know that in the note and we'll honor that. But otherwise, we certainly love hearing from people. So this week, we do have some producers, by the way, to give a big thanks to. And it's our fantastic monthly producers that are great supporters, Vin. So we have Joel Villanueva coming in with his $3.33.
Fantastic.
Or is it $3.93?
Okay.
Sorry, Joel. I think it's $3.93.
He's got the change.
And then we have Linda Schiller as well with a movie ticket a month for us, Vin. So we always appreciate you guys doing the monthly donations. It means the world to us. We really appreciate it. And anytime you want to write in, have something to say or ask, always please do. And of course, we'll address it. We'll read that on the producer thanks segment here. Joel and Linda, thank you as always. You are executive and co-executive producer of episode 218. And if anybody listening wants to be an executive producer for next week's episode 219, like I said, just go to thedailyratings.com, head to the donations tab. We are completely listener supported and we appreciate it so much. With that, Vin, let's head on over how you saw this early Sunday.
9 a.m.
You were able to get out before Monday in the theaters.
Yeah.
This is the third film. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes long. Avatar, Fire and Ash. The chatter has been out. There's a lot of chatter on it. Good and bad, a lot of mess, and a lot of like meh. I'm so excited to hear about it. You went early, 9 a.m. Sunday, dying to hear about it. Please set up Avatar, Fire and Ash. Just get into it. Bite into it for us.
Locked in. Well, folks, James Cameron is a lot like our favorite punching bag, Ridley Scott. Both are veteran filmmakers that have kind of grown cynical in their craft, but most of all can't keep their mouths shut in interviews that kind of flaunt their ego. And I mean, seriously, don't get me started on this bait and switch that Cameron did to boost sales for that Hiroshima project. Like, why would we ever listen to this man again? He just said yeah, actually it was all a lie, and I got you. Okay, it's why would you ever listen to this man?
I don't hate when directors don't have a filter and just go for it. It's another reason why I have a lot of respect for Tarantino.
Okay.
He is yet again shitting on another guy this week, but it's okay, hey, go sit with another director privately, and you're just getting the real guy just for everybody.
Right.
Like when Ridley Scott does it, I like it. James Cameron just at times just seems to be so far up his own ass.
It's such an ego.
It could be tough.
Yeah. It's such an ego.
Part of it.
And an ego still that relates back to Catherine Bigelow and their relationship.
Yeah.
Recently on this press circuit, he was saying he wrote some of her scripts or something like that.
Yeah, he was very angry he didn't get a writer cred on Point Break.
That's
which he directed.
Yeah. But I still would like to do a Bigelow study. I think that would be
absolutely.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
This week, though, I did find myself reflecting on what I love about his movies, however. We might not have covered them in our director episode way back when for Cameron, but scenes like the helicopter shot from Terminator 2, literally any of the iconic moments from Aliens, make me wish that we could just scrap the Avatar franchise and just do a reroll. I feel like it would be so creatively liberating for the man not to be filming these mocapped characters anymore. And I get that he's a tech guy first. He wants to push the envelopes.
I do think it's a love-hate thing at this point.
Yeah.
He's exhausted from Avatar.
I think he's burdened by it.
He's been very vocal about that we'll kind of see where 4 and 5 comes up.
Yeah.
These were kind of filmed together, meaning 2 and 3, and there were still reshoots and they still were shooting, last year for this. But after the big push of these last 2 films, I think he needs a very big break. Yeah.
I know. And on that note of like them being filmed together, you feel it. You feel it in this one. And if anything, that is the crux of my criticism, that this is 2.5, or they should have just been 2.
Yeah.
That really is the end of the story. But no, instead we have to really bleed out this story built on a foundation of unobtainium and continue the saga of characters that are unimaginative as their misplaced Zoomer dialogue on an alien planet. Thank you, James Cameron, for making me hear this blue alien say bro a couple dozen more times in this movie. I mean, come on. If you're new to the podcast, we did a whole episode on Cameron, like I said, back with the Avatar Way of the Water release.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
To catch you up on my thoughts on the series, it's pretty simple. Avatar 2009 had all the luster of introducing a new sci-fi world to audiences, but was plagued with some of the worst writing and blandest characters I've ever seen in a blockbuster. And while Way of the Water improves some of that by fleshing out a whole family of protagonists, it still couldn't shake its god-awful writing with a plot that felt closer to a TV side episode that was clearly buying time for more sequel real estate. So where does that leave us with the third entry? Mostly with the scraps of that second film. But I'm happy to say that most audiences are on the same page when it comes to realizing these 2 movies would be 10 times better spliced into one single story. And I feel like...
So 1 7.5-hour film, you'd have loved it. That's what you're saying.
Maybe cut it down to 5, but, I'm telling you, I feel like if they combined it and then that's the return off of the big hiatus from 2009, I feel like it might have been had some magic to it, honestly. And this is coming from someone that really doesn't like the series at all.
Well, and also, listen, from the get-go, back in 2009, that film came out, and Cameron revealed to everybody kind of his big plan for it, which nobody thought it was going to be as big as what he was kind of pitching.
Or that it would happen even.
Right, but the goal was to be in different sections of the world.
Yes.
So it was supposed to take place in the sky, in the ocean, I guess, whatever, on the volcanoes or something like that.
Right.
He had these different sections of the world. So that's what I keep on hearing with this. It's too similar. It's too water-focused, or it's too this. We don't get enough fire and ash and fire and ash.
100%.
And, I mean, what are you doing at that point?
Yeah. This really feels like it's half scraps from 2 and barely runway for what's new, with being these ash Navi and whatnot. So, but Avatar: Fire and Ash kicks off its sci-fi epic in the embers of its last conclusion. The waterborne Navi are still kind of providing shelter to Jake Sully and his family in exchange for defending against the ongoing colonization and eco-destruction wrought by humans. While Jake is still struggling with raising his family between the Navi way and his own like Brooklyn methods. I still don't understand his accent at all. That's definitely going back to the first review. He's not exactly center stage this time around. Instead, we see the focus shift to his children, and most importantly, and I really mean that, like most importantly, arguably the main character is their adopted human boy, Spider. You remember Spider? Yeah, well, I hope you liked him, because whether characters literally forget his name and call him Monkey Kid or not, he's the main character now. Spider's...
Oh.
James Cameron, thanks.
How old is Spider?
He's like a teen. He says bro on an alien planet.
It's tough, man.
It's too much.
Spider,
I know. I also think of Goodfellas, where Joe Pesci shoots Spider. He's
He's running the drinks and whatnot. That's what I think. I always go back to, isn't Spider in Matrix?
Oh, I think so. I think one of those.
He's one of the main crew, right?
Yeah. Unreal.
Well, we're definitely not thinking of Avatar.
We're definitely not. And again, he's so much the main character is that he's not only the crux for the plot, he is kind of the emotional center of all the characters. They always kind of branch out and kind of come back to Spider. Like, what the fuck?
It sounds rough.
And he gets the last words. The last words in this movie are said by Spider. I mean, thank you, James Cameron, for this. I definitely needed this movie to bring home Spider. Like, our blue family is unequipped to help Spider, though, as his lifeline of rebreather masks is about to run dry. He's literally been living with this family. A day in, day out, burning through oxygen masks. I don't know how this was seen as feasible once among adults in the room, but I guess he's part of the family. So they kind of embark on an adventure through hostile territory. That hostile territory ruled by these marauder ash Na'vi, these volcanic Na'vi. The fact that these Na'vi are in kumbaya with the rest of the planet gives our villain Stephen Lang some naughty ideas, and unfortunately I mean naughty, mostly around giving weapons to savages just to stoke some chaos. So hey, great. But when the humans get word of a kid that can somehow survive the atmosphere of Pandora, Spider becomes the new scientific exploit of the series that they don't want to close the lid on. Folks, almost on every level, from characters and story to action and set pieces, and maybe even most of all of those action and set pieces, this just feels, again, what the second film should have been. But because we've seen most of what's been introduced already, not only does it dilute what is thrown into Fire and Ash, it seriously feels like the second movie should have been combined with this for one dynamite sequel coming off of the 2009 film. A perfect example of this is the whale hunting subplot from the second one, but kind of rehashed again in both of these stories. If you felt like the climax of Way of Water was a slight letdown, it was just kind of like, one ship hunting some whales. Okay. Guess what? The good news is that we got in this movie what we should have gotten for the previous finale. It just feels like he's just, let's try again. Or to your point about the production, somewhere in the edit, they just had a lot to work with. And
you know what this reminds me of?
Yeah.
This reminds me of the final Mission Impossible. Because they kind of filmed those movies somewhat. I believe, I think it was the submarine scene was almost supposed to be the ender scene.
Oh, wow.
For the seventh film, not the eighth film. I forget what that one is called now. But because Dead Reckoning, you had Dead Reckoning and the Final Reckoning.
Yes.
That's right. In Dead Reckoning, the end wasn't supposed to be the train.
Wow.
The end was actually, I think, supposed to be the submarine.
Wow.
Then they chopped it up, so then the submarine and biplane are in the last film.
Right.
That sounds like this almost.
Exactly.
If we have that much, if we're bringing whales in again.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's just not Fire and Ash. It is the opposite of actually what we were thinking about.
Exactly. I would say almost at least 60-40 of stuff that we've covered. And granted, there is a story reason because the family has now settled down with the water Na'vi. So I kind of get it in the sense you can't cut them out.
If you're with the family, you're with the water.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay, but
it seriously, it feels like somewhere in the edit, in the production, they were like, we need to split up some of the juice, some of our scenes that have juice and distribute it between these two projects, Even down to specific characters like Sully's son or the super weird Sigourney Weaver Avatar kid. She sounds like a grandma, and she's supposed to be a child. Sorry. It feels like they are hard stuck in what should have been their arc in the second film. Specific things that just should have been the climax of the second film. Now, normally I might say that there's a great fan edit potential out there to combine these two movies, but where Fire and Ash splits its focus to continue these water-themed plot lines, it completely takes away from maybe not any substance, but a lot of substance in introducing these new Ash Na'vi, which there's a lot of fun that could happen there. I feel like this movie is burdened by its second one.
And you might get into this in your notes, did the Ash people look different enough and cool enough? You know what I picture? If I hear Fire and Ash, Avatar Fire and Ash,
right.
what are the look we're going to get? You know what I always really loved is the second Star Trek movie, where that starts, where they're trying to save that old tribe from, a mounting volcano explosion.
Yep.
Those guys look awesome.
Absolutely.
And ashy.
Yeah.
And Ash-like.
But all practical effects with that. Well, maybe not all, but at least the people,
Yes. How were they stylistically cooler?
I will say
or neat.
Yes, I think that the Ash Na'vi were cool in the sense that I can kind of get behind any villain. You know what I mean? My juice is for the evil characters. But seriously, They get shafted. They're 40% of what should have been their whole movie. You know.
Well, I guess we have to wait till the fourth film because we'll get half the film will be about them anyway.
To get the spillover of Fire and Ash. I know. Like I've said many times on the podcast and just a moment ago, I mean, big hammy villains, that's all I need to enjoy a movie usually. And I might have even said this earlier in the episode where depending we edit the Housemaid review, you know what I mean? Like, this is my juice for a lot of the times with these movies. And Fire and Ash comes really close to what I wanted. Stephen Lang is more hammy than ever. He basically becomes a tribal warlord aside an unhinged performance from the actress Una Chaplin that leads these Ash Navi. And Una really had some potential to be a great villain. She's creepy, she's chaotic, and while her character arc isn't really leagues above any of the blockbuster schlock, the blockbuster writing this series is known for, she does provide just a necessary shakeup to the already stale conflict in these movies. I think part of where, thinking back now on Way of Water, where it was a little bit of an eye roll for me is that first film, it's very much, you know, selfish humans versus nature blue people.
Yeah.
You know, almost to the point of parody. What's the classic eco battle? We got to fight against the whale hunting. You know what I mean? So that was the second one. And that was like, all right, well, they're kind of just doing the same thing. This shakeup is useful in the sense like, okay, maybe not everyone is on the same side here. There's some inner conflict, and now the humans are stoking different things. It's a little bit more complicated there. But where all this split focus hurts the film is that there's nothing meaningful that comes from their inclusion. I wish something significant happened with these Ash Navi, but they blip out of this story as fast as they enter into it. And again, I cannot stress enough, sidelined for a finale that should have 100% belonged in the last movie. The finale in this movie, maybe even just wholesale, should have been the finale. I don't know.
Was the Way of the Water.
Yeah. It's unreal. But, folks, almost everything else I have to say about this movie is just a rehash of the two reviews I've already done. I still can't stand the vapid dialogue, the lame writing, the lame world building of this series. I know I complained about that Zoomer slang that was thrown into the kid characters in the second film, but it's arguably no better here. I swear to God, if I hear another alien say bro one more time I might give up on sci-fi forever. If that becomes like a trend in writing sci-fi that like they have to sound like,
it takes you out of it.
Get it out.
That was some of my issues with Dune. One of my very few issues with Dune was some of the writing by Denny.
And you said Jason Momoa as well was like...
but maybe I said that too. Yeah. But most of all, Denny, I really love him as a director. Sometimes his writing can be... I just think it's the French in him where he's just like, it's fine, it's good enough. Or it's just too contemporary.
Right. Sigourney Weaver, sounds ridiculous.
Playing Kiri, yeah.
Sounds ridiculous.
Okay.
She is a child Navi character. She sounds like a grandma. And guess what? Her importance, I mean, I could have probably told you this in the second one, her importance is only ramping up. If Spider was the main character of this one, she's the main character of the finale.
Wow.
Of the fifth one.
Okay.
So she's going nowhere.
Fourth one, right?
Well, 4 and 5 are planned. Okay. I don't know. Again, okay. Who knows? But, I mean, I'll take only 4.
God, where are we going to go next? We're going to do the center of the earth? Because that's what King Kong did, right? They did King Kong and
under Pandora.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm not going to take a scalpel to it though, but I seriously feel like Cameron and the writers have confused their own lore a little bit here. I don't care about this series enough to nerd out over it. So,
there's no depth. I mean, come on.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there's huge fans.
Yeah, the autopsy is not also worth it, but there's also nothing.
Right, I'm sure. And if they listen to this, they're going to be very angry. But you know what I mean. The writing's on the wall. Go listen to the last review.
For real. I will go to bat.
It seems shallow. It seems rather shallow what Cameron has done here with the writing.
But like as I'm watching this, especially around the Fire Navi, there's a spot in my brain that I'm just like, I don't think they understand they're confusing their own lore. Again, I don't really want to go down the rabbit hole on it, but specifically Una Chaplin, her
Varang. Her character is Varang.
Yes.
Just for those people listening.
Yes, thank you. Evil Navi.
Yeah.
Varang,
just
her
Una Chaplin sounds like an actual character in the film. That's the thing.
Yo, so true. Absolutely. Her signature combat move is to use the hair organism that they use to connect to things.
They plug in.
Yeah, and almost hijack a soldier to paralyze them.
Coders.
Not coders.
Okay.
I think I don't want to say the word for monetization.
Don't.
This is sexual assault. We've been shown nothing of this organ on the Na'vi other than be euphoria when they jack into things. So it's
yeah, but they plug in their pterodactyls. It's right. They become one with it.
Exactly.
And all that horse shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's intentional because she's really evil and she's really crazy.
Right. So she gets sexual pleasure from plugging into.
They all do.
Okay.
But she uses it as a combat trick. And it's just what's going on here?
Okay.
I don't know. What are you implying, or did you just forget the implication of what you're implying? Seriously, Cameron needing to one-up himself, I think, is a secret ingredient here in I don't know, reverse engineering some of the choices in this film. I think you brought up a great point with the production cycle of this and them splitting the baby on what scene goes where the juice is, and what juice has to get put into each sequel.
Yeah.
Here, the technical innovations, it's not as much of a jump from 1 to 2, because 2 you obviously had all the underwater tech for capturing that. Here, there's not so much. Here, unfortunately, he kind of slips down the same muddy slope as Peter Jackson, and he seems to love these 60 frames per second action sequences.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we get Hobbit-style, higher frame per second action
So everything feels fake.
Yeah.
There's a polish to it. There's a fakeness. There's a digitalness.
Yes.
That feels, it could be real things.
Yep.
But when you shoot at 60 frames per second, which folks, I think it's usually 24 frames per second,
right.
a normal camera. There is a smoothing that happens that utterly makes everything feel fake and almost CGI.
Yep.
When I was doing behind the scenes with Hobbit and stuff, well, first of all, almost everything's fake, but even some of the real stuff that's on a table in a scene, I remember visually seeing it in the theater and being like, why does it look weird? Please tell me that they didn't CGI that.
Right.
It turns out they didn't, but it's because they shot with 60 frames per second cameras that had this smoothing to it that made things feel digital. Horrible effect.
Exactly. And I honestly don't know why he used it here, other than Cameron needs to one-up himself. He needs it either part of the marketing, or he needs it for his own satisfaction.
I think stylistically, there's some people that do like it, or there's a fluidity to it.
On paper, you think more
really
frames per second, the better. Right. But there is something that happens there that it looks artificial, or more artificial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that certainly is compounding with how these films
all
are
the
shot.
Other digital effect. Yeah,
exactly. So. My feelings, though, are identical to the second film on this one. Not to kind of be a bummer, but there's really not much going on here beyond the second, and where we might get a kind of a clearer goal to the story, setting up for the inevitable fourth and fifth film. The editing and the pacing of this 3-hour slog just feels off balance, because a strong story is non-existent. There is not a story here. There are crumbs of a story. There is almost infinite setup over 3 hours. There's almost no payoff that we didn't get paid off on already. I kid you not, there are scenes 2 hours into this that should have been the very first shot of the movie to hit the ground running. And yet, it still rushes its third act finale, just to give us a rehash of what the last whale-themed climax was. I mean, I don't know. I almost doubted the second film was 3 hours and 12 minutes or something.
It's right
like
up
that.
there, yeah.
But they waste time. It's just the what they do with the runtime real estate here. Just, man, really, really frustrating. And frustrating because, again, if the payoff of the finale was worth it, fantastic. Whatever. We got there. Razzle-dazzle me.
Yeah.
But it's a rehash, and then they even rush a lot of aspects that I would have liked to see. Aspects that you would think would be juice for a big climax in a blockbuster action kind of way. Maybe on the bright side here, the fourth film will take the scraps of this movie and do something exciting finally. But if I had to predict how this whole thing will play out, both Way of the Water and Fire and Ash will be doomed to seen as they attack the clones of the franchise, possibly something that you even skip on rewatches if you're going through it, and move on to the real juice of the conclusion. So thank you for this, James Cameron. We're going to go ahead and give Avatar Fire and Ash a 35.
Whoa, a 35%?
Matching with Way of Water, because they are the same movie.
But, okay, it almost surprised me that you are ranking it the same then, just because is it not more disappointing that this is the same?
Well, maybe that disappointment is offset, or even, like I said, the blandness of, like, I've already been introduced to this stuff. This isn't, like, flashy anymore.
Right,
even.
nothing is, right. Because the jump between 1 and 2, it is, what, 15 years? Even longer? It's something like that?
Yeah. I would say that is offset by maybe the fun we have with the Ash Navi, but again, in itself, has some critiques to it, has some criticism to
35%, you cheeky man. Okay, well, hey, there you go. And I will say, well, first of all, I mean, these actually dates have been posted for years now, but the schedule release is Avatar 4 is scheduled for 2029, and then Avatar 5 is scheduled for 2031.
Wild.
Just letting you know. But Jim Cameron will be doing something in the in between. Well, he's working with Billie Eilish on something as well. The man loves 3D as well, too. But it's just, come on.
Yeah, for real.
Also, Una Chaplin, the one playing for Varang.
Yep.
Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Well, she's got some crazy eyes.
Okay. And okay, there it is. Avatar Fire and Ash, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Well, and looking at these scores, Vin, anything you want to touch on? Add anything for next week? What's up?
Next week, well, like we said, Marty Supreme is already under the belt.
Yep.
We're probably going to round out the episode with the Safdie brother lead up, which is Good Time and Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
And I think that choice became clear to both of us after seeing Marty Supreme and just like how much it is in their same wheelhouse of. Like, this is a panic-inducing film at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe not as much as Uncut Gems, but...
It would be nice, especially Uncut Gems specifically, you always kind of reference back to that once in a while, or just how against the grain you are a little bit on that.
Yep.
It would be exciting just to hear you talk about that and get that on the podcast, audio to it.
Yeah, that was definitely a movie I've only seen once, so I would be excited to give it, a little bit more of a shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, Vin, with that, what... that's what I wanted to touch on. So next week, we do have that episode. The week after that, we'll see if we do catch-up.
Yeah.
We're kind of to see what's available, what's not. Two things that are a little interesting right now that we can't really find is there's Park Chan-wook's film.
Yes.
Which technically has a 2025 release, but it looks like we might not be able to watch that for a few weeks from now.
Yep.
And then we also have Bradley Cooper's Is This Thing On? So Park Chan-wook is getting critical praise, and it's in some people's, like some high-profile critics, like top 5, top 10 films for the year. So I really want to see that and count that for this year. But we'll see where the chips land. The point is we do have next week figured out, and there's a chance that the week after that we'll do the Tom Daly Awards already.
Yeah.
But if we want to give it another week for catch-up and just get these little scraps, that would be the following week. 2 weeks from now would be the Tom Daly's.
Absolutely. And folks, I mean, obviously, 2025, like all the years of the podcast, we cover a lot of new releases, and I feel like this year, even though we wound down the amount of movies we cover on the episode, we're still very new movie focused.
I think we covered a little bit more new movies than we have in the past.
Yeah,
maybe one or two, but over 90.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, folks, if there is something that we missed from 2025 that you wanted us to hear about and possibly make it to a catch-up episode, even if it's after Tom Daly's, feel free to write it. We'd love to hear.
And it would be fluff at that, not fluff, but we're trying to get the ones that are being talked about for sure. But some are just not available. Like there are some films making the Oscar shortlist.
Yes.
Like that just came out recently, where they give you
some direction.
Right, exactly.
Where they might
They'll
lean.
give you 20 films that are going to be for Best Picture, not
Yeah.
the official 10. But the point is there are a few being talked about. Vin and I will take our time and kind of comb through those.
Yep.
And also another thing, is it available for even us to see? Because that just makes a difference. And we do what we
It's
can
what we
here.
talked about with Brutalist last year.
Right. I mean, we do what we can, honestly.
Yeah,
Which is another reason why we postponed the Tom Daly's into January a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can kind of make sure we hit everything. Anyway, but with that, Vin, I'm looking forward for next week.
Yeah.
I have not seen Good Time. Obviously, I've seen the other two, so I'm excited to see that.
Sure.
And return to Uncut Gems. But with that, folks, we'll run this down one more time. So we've got Hamnet with a 73%. The Housemaid with a 45%, and Avatar, Fire and Ash with a 35%. Folks, as always, it's a blast hanging out week after week. We give a big thanks to our producers this week, Linda and Joel. And as always, we'll be here on the new show on Tuesday, and we'll have Vincent Daly back in the chair next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.